So I am in beautiful San Diego, California at the UCA conference, and things are just wrapping up here. But I had an amazing time, and this is kind of where my journey has led me to right now. And this is kind of a great place for me to just really show you how it's all kind of culminated so far into this wonderful experience in education. And I want to share my story about how all of things have come together to kind of bring me here and to hopefully go further into what I'm doing.
I was born and raised in Boone, North Carolina in the Appalachian Mountains. I grew up on East Main Street, where my father and my grandfather were the first father and son duo on the town council. Some of you may remember when Appalachian State beat Michigan in the greatest upset of all time, but I remember this day as being something a little bit different. This was the day that I started dating my wife, Christy, and the day that everything changed. We now have three beautiful children, Kanan, Micah, and Evangeline. They are going to be starting school next year, which is kind of the scariest thing I've ever thought of in my entire life.
So that was all about my family and where I started in relation to my hometown. But I'd like to talk about my educational experience and how I got to where I am.
I didn't have what you might call a normal educational experience. I started off going to Watauga High School and started off my high school career like any normal kid would. And then things got a little interesting. My father approached me and asked if I wanted to leave high school at the age of 16 and get my GED so that I could start college early. And I didn't particularly like high school at the time and thought it would be a great opportunity for me to get started early. I attended Tidewater Community College in Virginia Beach, Virginia, where I received an associate's degree in general education. After completing my associate's degree, I transferred to Appalachian State University, where I immediately joined an a cappella group. I'll never forget my first chemistry class at Appalachian State University. Dr. Cassandra Eagle, who is now the chair of the Department of Chemistry at East Tennessee State University, had gotten some fingernail polish on her dress and had brought the dress into class to give to a student to try and figure out a chemical that could go and remove the stain from the dress without actually damaging the dress at all. And she proposed this as a challenge for a student, and I took up the challenge. I ended up falling in love with chemistry from that day forward and ended up getting a major in chemistry. After receiving my bachelor's degree in chemistry from Appalachian State, I was accepted into the doctoral program in chemistry at Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. It was during this time period I really began to question whether chemistry was really a career I wanted to go into and whether I wanted to look in other pathways for what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And it was at this point that I began to look into getting a master's degree in chemistry and pursuing other career options.
After I realized that I didn't want to go into a career in chemistry, I started to go into education.
After receiving my master's degree in chemistry from Old Dominion University, I was accepted as a part-time adjunct faculty member at East Tennessee State University, where I taught organic chemistry labs. It was during this time that Dr. Eagle, who is now the chair of the Department of Chemistry at East Tennessee State University, approached me and knew that I was wanting to go into a career in education and presented me with an opportunity to apply for a program at Western Kentucky University. I was accepted into the second cohort of the G-Sky Teach program at Western Kentucky University, where I began to pursue a career in education. I also got to meet some pretty interesting individuals who would become fundamental to my career goals in education. After completing my master's degree in education from Western Kentucky University, I was hired as a chemistry instructor at Ballard High School in Louisville, Kentucky. I really enjoyed my experiences as an educator at Ballard High School because I got to really experience what it means to be a teacher in a secondary education institution. I also got to meet some amazing students who had profound effects on me as an educator and who really impacted me on what students were capable of and how students could work together in groups and collaborate together to really accomplish some amazing things. We even got to come up with our own serious face slogan whenever we would win at competitions. These were my debate kids, and they were just amazing students, and I miss them every day. I also got to experiment with some out of the box teaching approaches that I probably wouldn't have gotten the opportunity to do if I were teaching somewhere else. My wife typically didn't like it when I brought work home with me, but she still allowed me to have some fun along the way. It was during this time period that I began to conduct professional development sessions for teachers on integrating technology into the classroom. Even though I was integrating technology into the classroom, I still felt like something was missing, that I wasn't operating at my full potential, and that there was more that I needed to be doing. It was during this time period that I began to question what I was doing. I don't remember if it was over a game of cards or not, but Taylor and I would constantly be talking about ways of improving technology integration in K 12. So it was through these discussions that Taylor and I began to look into doctoral programs for school technology leadership. It wasn't too long before Taylor and I were purchasing a headset and joining the University of Kentucky School Technology Leadership Doctorate Program. Being in the UKSDL program caused me to think about how I was integrating technology in the classroom and opportunities to pursue other career options. This was kind of sad for me because I really enjoyed my students at Ballard and my experiences there, but I knew that I had to begin to think about where I was going. One of these career options was being the social media correspondent for the University Council for Educational Administrators, an opportunity to share and network with people and at leadership programs across the country. I'm now the instructional media specialist at Watauga High School, and I'm charged with redesigning the Media Center into a design lab for students to where they can integrate technology into their everyday lives. Being back home also means being closer to family.
So I hope you've enjoyed this video and that you learned a little bit about me and my journey and where I am now. I'm hoping that this journey goes on to some great things and some wonderful experiences, and I can't wait to tell another story about where things go from here. Thank you so much for your time.